Are you looking for the best external hard drives? In this video, we will look at some of the 8 best external hard drives on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Western Digital Elements Desktop Hard Drive for incremental backups, which we recommend. Speed isn't a huge factor. That's why the first drive I recommend is this Western Digital Elements hard drive. I have been using a variation of the Elements desktop hard drive to make incremental backups of my data for more than a decade now. These drives are big and require external power, but are some of the cheapest, most reliable drives I've used. Transfer speeds are not off the charts. The Elements drive I tested scored 120 megabytes per second MB/S for sequential writes on Windows. But again, you should ideally be running backups overnight anyway. And even at these speeds, the average PC backup will be done by morning. These drives use USB-C with support for USB 3, and I've had no problem using them with Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Storage options go all the way up to 20 terabytes. Just check the prices. Sometimes you can get a 10 or even 12 terabytes drive for not much more than the 8 terabyte version. And I have not seen a huge difference between the Elements line, the WD My Book drives, or the WD My Passport drives. The My Passport drives command a premium price because they're smaller, and the My Book drives have some encryption features that drive up the price, but I find the basic Elements drive is sufficient for most people. Number 2. Western Digital My Passport Ultra. If you travel a lot, you'll want something that's easier to carry than the Elements drives, which aren't the best in a suitcase. For backups when traveling, I love Western Digital's My Passport series, especially the new Ultra version, which uses a standard USB-C cord, eliminating the need to carry a separate cable. It's not the thinnest drive on the market, but it's less than an inch thick and solid enough that I never worried about tossing in my bag. Although it should be said that this is a spinning drive, so don't literally toss it. I also like that the corners are nicely rounded and there are no screws or anything else that will catch on fabric in your bag. There are a variety of colors available, and you can get from 1 terabyte to 6 terabytes. I tested the 5 terabytes model, but Western Digital claims the same speeds regardless of drive size. I tested it using Crystal Disk Mark on Windows, Amorphous Disk Mark on Mac OS, and K-Disk Mark on Linux, and averaged the results to come up with 121 megabytes per second for read speed and 115 megabytes per second write speed. It's not what you want to copy photos quickly for a client in the field, but fast enough to run a daily backup in your hotel room. Number 3. Crucial X6 Portable SSD. These Crucial drives are my favorite general-purpose external storage drives. They're reasonably priced for a portable SSD and speedy enough for most uses. The X6 is lightweight and tiny, making it a good choice for working at the coffee shop. This isn't a blinding fast hard disk. In fact, under the hood, the X6 uses an older drive interface, serial attachment or SATA, which was more common with spinning hard drives. So while it's small and light, its speed is limited by that older interface technology. In my testing on Windows and Mac OS, that works out to about 550 megabytes per second read speed and 208 megabytes per second write speed. That's good enough for backup and use as an external drive, but I don't recommend it for Xbox or PlayStation use. It does work fine with the iPad Pro, though. The major downside is the plastic construction. It's a portable hard drive, not an indestructible hard drive. If you're worried about it breaking in your bag, grab a padded case. There are plenty out there, like this one. The Crucial X9 below is a step up from the X6, both in terms of build quality. It's melted to the X6 plastic and speed, but the X9 is considerably more expensive. Number 4. Crucial X9 Pro SSD. Crucial's X9 Pro hits the sweet spot of speed, portability, and price to be one of the best drives out there for photographers looking to make backups in the field. These drives are tiny, about half the size of a deck of cards, and weigh a mere 1.3 ounces, 38 grams. They'll connect to just about anything. I tested the X9 Pro on Windows, Mac, Linux, Android, and iOS, and never hit any issues with any of them. When it comes to speed, the X9 Pro claims symmetrical read and write speeds at 1,050 megabytes per second. I actually consistently got higher speeds, up to 1,110 megabytes per second for read and 1,100 megabytes per second for write. That puts the X9 Pro at the top of the pack in terms of portable drive speed. I've been testing the X9 Pro for several months now, and while I can't yet speak to the long-term survival rate, I have been testing X6 and X8 drives from Crucial for over 2 years now without issue. There's also the X10 Pro drive, $180, which offers even faster speeds if you have a PC that supports USB 2x2. The latest Intel chips support this spec, but Apple does not, so there's no point in buying the X10 Pro if you have a Mac. I do not own a PC that supports USB 2x2 for extensive testing, but I did get a chance to at least try it. Number 5. OWC Envoy Pro Elektron SSD. If you need a drive that can stand up to life in a backpack or camera bag, get wet, or handle a drop onto hard surfaces, OWC drives are your best choice. It's tough to pick a winner here because there are many solid options, but OWC's Elektron drive narrowly beat others in benchmark tests. I also like that you can swap out the drive inside the aluminum casing. It's easy to unscrew, which means 2 years from now, you can pick up a faster bare SSD and drop it in the hardy Elektron enclosure. Sabre Rocket Nano 1TB SSD for $120. I really like this one. It's smaller and slightly faster than the OWC, but it has 2 drawbacks. The first is that it can get hot. If you're trying to work with it in your lap, it can be downright uncomfortable. The other issue is that sometimes it's slow to be recognized by my PC. I could find no pattern to this. Sometimes it appeared right away, and other times it took a couple of minutes. If those things don't bother you, this drive is tiny, cheaper, and includes a padded rubber case. Number 6. WD Black SN770. If you want to put a bigger SSD in your laptop, all you need is a bare drive, which is generally cheaper than the drives with enclosures listed above. The first thing to figure out is which drive your PC uses. Consult your manufacturer's documentation to find out. In my experience, the most common form factor is M.2 2280, which is a long, thin drive and image above. More compact laptops may use a similar, but shorter M.2 2242 design. Again, check your PC to confirm the drive it needs before you buy. There are a ton of these on the market, and I haven't had time to test many yet, but so far, out of the half dozen I have tried, Western Digital's WD Black series has stood out for speed, and it doesn't run very hot. The SN770 M.2 2280 achieved speeds of 5,100 megabytes per second in my testing, which is blazing fast. If you're doing a lot of drive-intensive tasks like editing video or gaming, this drive is well worth the money. The largest version you can get is 2 terabytes. Number 7. LaCie Rugged SSD. The go-anywhere drives above are a solid solution for people who need to make backups in the field, like photographers and videographers. But if you want an extra level of comfort, this padded drive from LaCie has long been a favorite of travelers. LaCie makes both an SSD version and a traditional spinning drive version. If speed is an issue, as with making nightly backups, then the cheaper spinning drive makes more sense. If you're backing up in the middle of a photo shoot or a similar situation where backing up needs to happen fast, the SSD version is what you want. It isn't as padded as LaCie's rugged drives, but it's cheaper and delivers nearly the same speed. It has an IP65 rating, which means it's fine in the rain, and is protected from dust and sand. The T7 line is notable for its built-in security features like hardware-based encryption, but unlike the Touch model, the Shield does not have a fingerprint reader. Still, if you don't need the full padded protection of the LaCie and want to save a little money, the T7 Shield is a good option. Number 8. Western Digital P40 Gaming Drive. Take this category with a grain of salt. Most of the drives here will work just fine for gaming. Just stick with the fastest you can afford. That said, Western Digital's new P40 does have some cool RGB lights on the bottom, if that's your jam. In my testing, that didn't seem to impact power consumption. As for speed, my tests were inconsistent. This drive is capable of speeds that handily beat both the Envoy Pro and Samsung T7, but other times it seemed to bog down, at least in benchmarks. In real-world use, the The bottleneck I consistently hit was some lag in transferring huge amounts of data. That might be a deal breaker for some, but for the price, it remains a solid choice.